Hey guys, so for those of you who don't know me, my name is Courtney McDermott, and this week for my discussion lead I wanted to talk about the dress, which I'm sure most of you have heard about. Basically it was a dress that went viral, and some people apparently see it as white and gold, and some people see it as black and blue. The reason I chose this was not for just the dress that went viral, but because of what the Salvation Army did in response to this, which I thought was just a brilliant ad campaign on their part. So, the dress obviously was just, it's an example of how so many things in our world now can be simple but go viral and turn into something way bigger than you would ever expect them to be. I think a lot of people also were interested because they truly saw different colors, and people love to be involved and talk about things. But the reason I chose this as my topic was because of the Salvation Army, and I have the picture of what the Salvation Army tweeted out, if everyone can see that. And it says, "Why is it so hard to see black and blue?" And this is to raise awareness for domestic violence. They also tweeted that 1 in 6 women are victims of abuse. I just thought this was incredibly powerful when I saw it. I was blown away. I just thought how incredible for them to take something that was really meaningless, essentially, that, we all see a different color of the dress, but to take it to a whole nother level and really raise awareness for the domestic violence, I thought was really, really smart on their part and great PR. I think that it just proves how you can take something and change it, and the whole message of the dress can go from one meaning to another overnight. That's the crazy thing about the internet, how some things go viral and some don't, and I was happy to see that something like this can take such prevalence because of a dress. Having said that, I also recently discovered, after I decided that this would be my topic, I was at a family party, so I decided to start the discussion amongst them and see what they thought about it. And I thought it was really interesting that probably only about 3/4 of the people at my family party had heard about the Salvation Army campaign, and the fact that they paid more attention to the dress and then they didn't hear much else about it. I thought that was really interesting. So one of my questions for this discussion lead, I was just wondering how many of you actually saw this Salvation Army campaign? And that also makes me think, why? Is it more eye-catching because it was what was talked about, or what? So I just want you guys to think about that and wonder, why did some people hear about this and others didn't? I also just thought it was interesting, everyone's responses, because seeing it as such a deep meaning and it's such a deep-rooted issue, it also can make people feel uncomfortable. I guess especially if people have been involved in something as serious as domestic violence, it might be difficult for them to talk about. So maybe even if they did hear about it, that it's just uncomfortable for them. But I thought that that's why the Salvation Army did such a good job in really bringing forth such a deep issue that should never be ignored, and, using the platform to make it a positive one. I just think that the fascinating thing about PR is how it reaches people on such different levels, and how everyone can interpret something different. And it might just be a dress, and people might think, oh, whatever. But I think the fact that they used this opportunity to make it something bigger is really impressive and really smart on their part. So even though that the Salvation Army used a previous platform essentially to turn it into their own, that's kind of my other question for you guys, is how do you feel about another PR ad kind of jumping on the back of another one? So essentially they used the fact that the dress was something that was current and everyone was talking about, to make their point. And I don't know that it would have been as powerful. It wouldn't, I guess what I'm trying to say is that if I had seen the Salvation Army ad, I definitely would have been impacted by it and thought it was really intense and well done. But I think the fact that the dress was already talked about and the fact that some people see white and gold and some people see black and blue, I think their message was incredibly, more powerful. And I also think that it wouldn't have made as much sense to people. They would have had to go about it a different way. So I guess that's just another thought that I think about in PR, how when some different campaigns are brought forth because of other ones that are currently viral. And so I'll just leave you with that thought, what you guys think about that. Do you think it's a good thing or a bad thing? My personal opinion is that it can definitely be beneficial, especially in a situation like this, where they took something and made their message even more powerful than it could have been without. Well, thank you guys, and look forward to hearing the rest of you guys as the weeks go on.